Next up, we are going to be working with the watercolor pencils. Now, I do have 6 boxes of those materials, so you do need to make sure that when you look at the pencil that it has the paintbrush on it. Now we're going to start with the gradient, or working from dark to light. Now you can see that I'm just adding color like I did back in my colored pencil boot camp. Starting with a nice dark layer of color and working to a light layer of color, kind of gradually. Now after I have my color on there, I can go ahead and move on to my layering. I'm starting here with blue, and I'm kind of doing the same thing I did from the dark to light, but this time I'm going to work with 2 colors. So after I get a good amount of blue on the paper, I'm then going to add some purple as well, making sure that those 2 colors overlap. Next, I'm going to move on to hatching. Remember, hatching is just sets of parallel lines. So I'm going to add some red lines, and I'm going to add some blue lines as well. But all these lines are going in the same direction. For my cross hatching, I'm going to do the same thing, but I will have 2 sets of parallel lines. And I'm even going to add 2 different colors in here as well. Now as I add the water, I want to make sure I'm working with clean water, and I'm going to do this just like I did in my pan watercolor paint, except my paint is already on the paper. So I'm going to add the water kind of in long motions here, going from light to dark. As I move on to layering, I'm going to work in the blue section first, kind of starting into where it mixes with the violet. And then I'm going to take the violet back in the direction towards the blue. Where they meet, then I will work the paint a little bit back and forth to get more of a smooth transition between the 2 colors. And when I move on to my hatching, I'm going to work with my brush very similarly than what I did with my pencil. I'm just kind of hatching with the water to kind of activate the paint. And in the cross hatching, I will do the same, but I will have 2 sets of parallel lines. I do still want to be able to see my marks within my paint, so I'm not completely covering everything. Now in your experiment section, this is just space for you to kind of play around and see what you can come up with. You can try other watercolor techniques covered in our other boot camp, or just play around with the material on your own.